What's happening? So, this latest thing I heard is about the LeBron James podcast, the Le Podcast, and JJ Reddick is gonna be a co-star. And my reaction is, who the heck wants to hear an almost 40-year-old who's a 10th seed, 19th seed, 10th seed, playing tournament the last few years, going about the intricacies of X's and O's? Who wants this? Doesn't LeBron James get tired of Rich Paul and Maverick Carr and all them dominating clutch sports that they got everybody slurping him as the second greatest basketball player ever and got him his name on everybody's lips and got the ESPN logo. I'm surprised he ain't got a ESPN logo by now or a Fox Sports logo. Thank you for Paul Pierce, and I'm going to talk about what he said on his debut on Undisputed. What has happened? Because I don't want to hear. And JJ Reddick, you should be going to Steph Curry for a podcast. That's between Steph Curry and Doc Rivers, but especially Steph Curry because you playing on the court. But Doc Rivers, because it's Austin Rivers busted you up. And if Austin Rivers busts you up, that's kind of like when Drake dissed Meek Mills. That's hilarious. But that's another story, another video. But Austin Rivers told the truth. His daddy was the only one that gave JJ Reddick a hope. JJ Reddick had the nerve to call 60s and 70s guys plumbers and utility men and inspectors and stuff, when his behind was headed straight to being the plumber's assistant on the floor. It weren't for the fact that Steph Curry's three-point explosion and the changing of what the Splash Brothers were playing them got that turkey a job, because he was going to be another one of them stiff white boys that came out of Duke who would have been, I don't know if he'd have been like Grayson Allen tripping people over, but maybe have one of them out of body games every 6 games in garbage time. There was no hope for his turkey. So he gets on ESPN. He's got that doll swerp face, got that broke Elvis pompadour, Ricky Nelson pompadour from the 60s, like he looking like Leave It to Beaver with a little face hair, crying because he has to debate topics. I remember Rob Parker and Chris Broussard and them called him out and said, well, if you don't like to debate, why are you on TV? And I'm like, yeah. So now you're going to slurp up to the podcast and talk inside stuff to somebody who is using you too. But they already get used up. But I guess this will make JJ Reddick feel like he's doing something, because he really doesn't do much. He's overrated. He was a third-tier player. Call it what it is. I never was. And when I call you a third-tier player in the Martin game, that's the lowest of the low, because you're in Scrubville. You're mop-up duty. But because the three-point ball started to become advent, you bought you some time with the Clippers. You sucked most of your career. You were not a threat. You weren't even Danny Ainge worthy. Danny Ainge looked like the second coming of Larry Bird compared to JJ Reddick. If you knew Danny Ainge back then, you weren't hardly going to say that. But you know where I'm going with this. But see, slurping up to LeBron and his old tired podcast with his old tired questions and answers, LeBron need to go somewhere and retire. I am so tired of his antics. He is pitiful and pathetic. I want to hear from a 10th seed. Not saying that he's washed, because he can still play, even though them Balco and them other things, them chemicals and those refs and Adam Silver have prolonged his career, because he don't play no defense and his team stinks and they're not that good. So why do I want to hear what he got to say? What insight do I want? What do I want to hear? I don't want to hear nothing. I want to see you play ball. I'm not going to agree with Laura Ingram that said to shut up and dribble, but I'm going to say this. You need to be quiet, because your team sucks. You've been 10 seed playing tournament for like last 2-3 years in a row. You're not that memorable no more. There are better teams and better analysts. Why don't JJ Reddick take his talents and ask Jokic? Well, Jokic won't talk to him. Or somebody that's Jason Tatum. Why you got to slurp the LeBron, the podcast? For what? They ain't winning. It just gets tiring. And if LeBron James ever came to me, which he won't, but if he ever came to me and came on my show and said, well, why are you what you feel? I said, I give you 10 reasons. Because you're not playing ball. You trying to talk through stats and you trying to talk to the media because you got them bought and paid. I see through the jive. You're not doing anything on the court. You're not making Anthony Davis better, and Anthony Davis ain't making you better. And we know that this shipwreck, because you can't trade and manipulate the situation, is what's going on here. It's manipulation. It got nothing to do with playing no ball. You're not better than Kareem. You're not better than Jordan. You're not better than Shaq. You're not better than Duncan. You're not better than Curry to me. You're not better than Wilt. You're not better than Russell. You're not better than Bird or Magic. So stop with all the jive. Make people respect your game and not all your antics. So I am boycotting the La podcast. And JJ Reddick, he's like beer man at the stands. If you go to a game, throw and keep it moving. And I ain't got nothing to hear what that pompous, stiff jive turkey got to say, because he was third tier and not memorable. Okay? Not memorable at all. And his comments, he got Bob Cousy out, the old folks on Bob Cousy about ready to pull a Will Smith two-piece on him for disrespecting the six. And Jerry West put him in place. Please. I don't want to hear nobody that disrespects the old school. And that's what LeBron, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. Disrespecting. They need to shut up. Talk to some legends. Talk to some people who, not somebody who has to glorify, I'm the greatest, I am me, I am all that. LeBron, you're not Ali. You're not representing the people. You're getting pimped. You ain't talking about China. You ain't talking about Balco. And you sure as heck ain't talk about Adam Silver and how they make you dance on that plantation. I'm out.